Because it's something that you need to know, sisters and brothers. So we can dispel this thing of who is a Jew or who's Israel and who's not. Because this is something that the Lord put here for us to know. And everybody's telling you their history, which is his story. It is up to tell our history, which is our story. Ain't nobody else going to tell it. So if you don't tell it, ain't nobody going to know about it.
That's right.
And we need to get away from this thing. Somebody's always defining to us what we should do. We need to define ourselves sometime. Who knows? You might have something pretty good to say.
Now, February has been designated as Black History Month. And this month is set aside to pay honor to the contributions that black people have made to this country and the world. But the thing about this is that the people that they're honoring in this month of February is referred to as black people. And the problem with that is that every people on the face of the earth is named after a country off of a continent. But this people that are being honored during this month of February is referred to as black people. And I asked you, where is the country black that these people come from? We are the only people on the face of the earth that is not called after a country on a continent. When you deal with the Europeans, you'll deal with the English. He come from England. England is a country on the European continent. When you deal with the Polish person, he comes from Poland. Poland is a country off of the European continent, as well as the Italian, the German, the Austrian, so on and so forth. But when it comes to this person that is called black, what country did we come from? And this is the point that we are going to do. We are going to identify ourselves as the children of Israel. The children of Israel that is written about in the Bible. And what we're going to do is we're going to show you our history from our conception. And we are going to identify the true children of Israel by color. But read it, verse 26.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare him.
Now after Esau was born, the book say, came out his brother Jacob. And Jacob laid hold on Esau's heel because they were struggling in the womb, right? Mm-hmm. So at the time to be delivered, Esau come out. I guess Jacob figured that Esau was getting away. He holding on to him. Mm-hmm. And he born holding on to Esau's heel because the book said they struggled in the womb, right?
That's right.
But Esau was born first. He's red all over like a hairy garment, but then the book just said Jacob came out, right?
That's
and the
right.
book said that Jacob came out with his hand on Esau's heel, but it didn't give no description of what Jacob looked like, right?
Nope.
And then also the book told you that the elder is going to serve the younger. So therefore Esau, once we find out who he is, he got to serve Jacob. Because Esau is the eldest brother, right? And he got to serve Jacob. Both of these are the descendants of Isaac, who is the descendant of Abraham, who is the descendant of Shem. And as of yet, we don't know what color they are, right?
If it hadn't been Baruch or Reuben, I'd be dead right now. But then Joseph understood that this thing from God, sisters and brothers. But think about it now. This is a Hebrew Israelite. His brothers don't know him. They're Hebrew Israelites. And he's speaking to him in the Egyptian language, and then the Egyptian that he have interpreted into the Hebrew, and they don't have a clue who he is. You know why? Because Israel and Mizraim look just the same. Black folks, sisters and brothers. But finally, Joseph couldn't deal with it no more. He revealed himself. Let's go into Genesis, the 45th chapter. Genesis chapter 45. I don't care what nobody says, sisters and brothers. You cannot get this one that's nowadays that calls himself a Jew and pass for this guy, or this woman's grandson. Y'all understand me? Impossible. I don't care how you slice it. That's the way it is.
our people are referred to as black people. We are the only people in the world who is not identified by a country off of a continent. And this is very significant. To know who made the stoplight is good. To know who did the first open heart surgery, made blood plasma, made the lubricating device to lubricate the locomotive wheel and the ironing board and some of the other things that we've done, the cotton gin and all that, that's all well and good. But to have done all that and to still not know who you are as a people and have no empowerment and not have a government behind you, that's not saying a whole lot. And this series here is not to focus on the things that we have done, because we know that we are a talented people. But this series is focused on giving us some education and some knowledge as to who we are as a people.
Now that's Edom. Now go ahead and read.
Bozrah, now Bozrah, situated in the extreme northern part, was its chief city and the capital. During the reign of David and Solomon, Edom was under subjection to the Israelites.
Go ahead.
Later, the Edomites ravaged the southern portions of Palestine and were denounced with considerable vehemence by some of the prophets of Israel. After the destruction of Jerusalem in 70 AD, the name of Edom, or Idumea, disappeared from geography.
Wait a minute now. Why did they wait till 70 AD when we was destroyed to disappear from geography? Simple, sisters and brothers. The thing, how do you hide a whole people? I mean, they hid too. You don't ever hear Edomites or Idumeans even mentioned in churches. They are hid. How do you hide a whole nation? And change the name. When they got driven into southern Jerusalem, they named it to Idumea. 7 AD, when Titus took down Jerusalem, the ones that they didn't kill, scattered in Jerusalem, scattered into all the world, they changed the name back from Idumea back to Judah, or Judea. And the whole world said, the Jews are back. And ain't nobody paying no attention.
Welcome to the Israel of God Bible Study Class, where our pastor is Brother Henry Boyd. Today's lesson is titled, Black History Told by the Prophets. This is part 3 of a 6-part series titled, Spiritual Death and Resurrection. And now, our pastor, Brother Boyd.
But the part that I'm going to do, sisters and brothers, is real history, because I don't count this American history as black history. I look upon this, sisters and brothers, as slave history. Everything we have in this country, it is never from a position of strength. It is always from a position of servitude, or either by permission. And believe me, we had some great people in our history. What are our great people in the history? Your history, sisters and brothers, is this Bible that's in everybody's house.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled. They are all of them snared in holes.
Go ahead.
And they are hid in prison houses.
Ain't that something? He said you're robbed and spoiled, you're all snared in holes, and you are hid in prison houses. How many of us is incarcerated, sister and brother? Think about it. How many of us is incarcerated? I got a newspaper clipping here on the Jews that are in jail. We're going to have us a look here. Because, you know, we like to deal with statistics too. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing wrong with throwing around a few statistics. But we don't do stuff like that because, you know, you don't have to go prove nothing. Why not? If you had required for more people to prove something, you'd be in better shape. See? Now, here's a statistic here on the Jews that's in jail. That's the other people. Okay? Just read that how many is in there nationwide. Just read right here.
from Greenhaven Correctional Facility in Stormsville, New York, which many believe has the greatest population of Jewish inmates, to the Patuxent Institution in Jessup, Maryland, which has only one.
Ain't that something? But go ahead and read anyway.
There are an estimated 4,000 to 5,000 Jewish men and women incarcerated in the United States.
Ain't that something now? Go ahead and read that.
A minuscule proportion of the nation's 2.2 million prisoners.
Ain't that something? 2.2 million only. We're going to take the big number, 5,000. Divide 5,000 by 50 states. And if you put them all equal, you know what that will put you? About 20 Jews in each state, not correctional center. 20. From Hawaii to Mississippi. 20 Jews in each state. But the Lord said, you're going to read that again. Read it. Read it.
At 22.
Uh-huh.
But this is a people robbed and spoiled.
They're robbed and spoiled.
They are all of them snared in holes.
You're snared in holes.
And they are hid in prison houses.
And you're hid in prison houses. Now you tell me, don't have to go nowhere else. Go down to the county out there. How many is in the county? None of her sons are taking this people by the hand and say, look, I'm going to show y'all which way to go. I'm going to tell you what done happened to your son. Skip down to verse 20 and read it.
Thy sons have fainted.
Thy sons have fainted.
They lie at the head of all the streets.
And you'll find them at every street corner. Finish that.
As a wild bull in a net.
Uh-huh.
They are full of the fury of the Lord, the rebuke of thy God.
And they're all mad for what done happened to them. Get to the point you walk in the block, you scared to go to the corner. They there. If you don't, let the weather get a little warmer. And they going to gather at the heads. That's the street corner. You didn't know that's prophecy? They're going to be there. They was there the last summer. They're going to be here this summer and the summer after. You know why? Because prophecy said they're going to be there. And they're all going to be mad. Because they're full of the fear of the Lord and this rebuke. They don't know why this stuff didn't happen to them. But it's prophecy, sisters and brothers, and it have to be. But when
Welcome to the Israel of God Bible Study Class, where our pastor is Brother Henry Boyd. The title of tonight's lesson is Black History as Told by the Prophets, Part 4, The Priest of God. This lesson will be taught by Brother Andrew.
Now therefore, if you obey my voice indeed and keep my covenant, then you shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine.
Go ahead.
But ye are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, an holy nation, a peculiar people.
Ain't that what we just read in Exodus?
That's right, brother.
The exact same words, right? Now this is some 3,000 years later. You are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, a peculiar people, because everybody in the nation is priests. Not just some of you, all of you.
And God gave Solomon wisdom and understanding exceeding much, and largeness of heart, even as the sand that is on the seashore. And Solomon's wisdom excelled the wisdom of all the children of the east country and all the wisdom of Egypt. For he was wiser than all men, than Ethan the Ezrahite, and Heman, and Charcoal, and Darda, the sons of Mahol,